Hello, welcome to the All or Nothing podcast. Our official sponsors are KR Couriers and Transport Limited. This is a Northwest based courier company delivering all across the UK. They can assist in home moves and removals to large, heavy and bulky items, collections and drop-offs. Fast, safe and reliable deliveries. Please get in touch for a free quote. You'll find all the information within the description. Thank you. Hello everybody and welcome to the All or Nothing podcast with Billy Moore, and today's special guest is Dale Hyde. Dale is an author. He's been through a traumatic experience. Did that sound right? That's traumatic.
It was pretty traumatic.
Was it traumatic? Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself before we get to the nitty gritty of what's been going on.
Yeah, usually start by saying I was born in Salford, Old Hospital. It's Salford Royal now. Get forwarded a bit, innit? So born in Manchester. My dad's side's all Manchester. My mum's side's all Yorkshire. I've never really lived over Manchester way. I've always lived Yorkshire way. My dad won't move. My mum won't move over that way. Do you know what I mean? So my dad moved that way. So I brought up around West Yorkshire, Wakefield mainly. My mum's side's that side. School, okay. Did all right at school, but never really knuckled down and did what I could have done. Do you know what I mean? Like never used my brains as much as what I should have been using them.
Yeah.
Got into trouble quite early, a bit of thieving, nothing heavy, but like by the time I sort of got 15, started a bit on the drugs. Most of my mates around like the council estates, we were all smoking a bit. We were going up like Chapeltown, Leeds, like getting a bit of draw. Like then it would only, like you go up and it took us about 10 months to get into this pub called the Ave. It's knocked down now, like a rough old pub with all the Rastas there, the Jamaicans, and we go up there, do you know what I mean, get a bit of ganj. Go a bit of acid, like the sheet acid.
How old are you now?
I'm 48 now. You've gone a bit grey. You'll see why, but
yeah, but
you're a bit grey.
You're the same age as me, so you're probably born in what, 73?
74, January. Yeah, 74.
What date in 74?
21, January 21st.
So you're an
Aquarius, yeah. Which suits me down to the ground, mate. Like I'm definitely.
I only say that because I was born in January myself, but 73. So.
Yeah.
With similar ages, and I'm listening
to when you look
all
for
acid and ganja and
acid ganja, hot night.
No one calls it that. It's all star dog and cheese. And
no, I later down. Skip forward to the skunk now. I don't think it's like having a smoke because we used to sort of pass a bit of a spliff to each other, have a nice chat and mellow. Now they're just sort of like they might as well be on the gear, aren't they?
Yeah,
it's that heavy, full of that much stuff. So
it's desperate where it takes people.
Yeah, I see people that I've been like. You could go. I've got pals like where they're on the sofa and they're on the PlayStation. I've been to like Spain, been to like Morocco, been and written a book, come back and they're just still in the same position, still playing the same game. I'm like, what you been doing? No, sat here. Think okay, you just it doesn't seem any fun to me. They're just like monged out.
Obviously, you change, but other people don't. I noticed that when I got me shit together years ago. It was like. I noticed that I'd changed and I'd, moved forward in my life and other people were still static.
Yeah, you feel a bit awkward at times. I found, like leaving a few folk behind.
Yeah.
Found it a little bit awkward because you felt a little bit...
Responsible.
Yeah, responsible. And also you felt like, you felt like you had, you felt like you were sort of doing, shitting on them a bit. You know what I mean? Like sort of leaving them out, blanking, but without pulling away. I tell all the young ones these days, and that them circles. If you don't pull away and make a move, you'll only get somewhere later down the line when you look back and think that's when I made that move down that avenue on my own. If you stay with the crowd, you're going to stay with the crowd, aren't you?
Yeah,
and there's nothing in the crowd.
Yeah, that's it. There's
except for just I think they're all clinging on. It's like the like you say with people all about the heroin and stuff like that. It's like I always feel they need somebody to hold their hand, don't they? Like if one of them gets clean, they're all come on, get back on it.
Yeah.
They don't want to see anybody pull off and start. Like when I went to
fear. It's always fear. It's fear, it's fear of being left behind.
It seemed that way. Do you know what I mean?
And jealous as well. Like if I remember some birds years ago getting clean off the swag, and it was like a miracle.
Yeah.
But she wasn't clean.
No,
she was just on the ale.
Yeah, well,
but that was it. It was like wow.
But when we get to that whiskey pool short story, that's where I made the mistake where when I were having problems, I thought, well, I'm not a junkie.
Yeah.
I'm not on the coke. I'm just back socialising in the pubs. And I didn't see the problem creeping up with the alcohol until it become like nutters in, like you kind of then start drinking in the rough houses.
It's quite visible then, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm well dressed up till tea time, and then by 7 o'clock I'm in the nick.
Yeah.
You're locked up, and then you're at court with you're all scruffed up. Nutters in town, you sit next to them, get a Guinness. They're like, I'm going to shoot off. I'm like, what's up with you? Like, just you're too unpredictable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're a nutcase. And they're like, oh yeah, all right. And you're starting to think, hang on a minute, you don't really realise how you're getting portrayed or how you're changing. You know what I mean? Until
you're blind.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. I just thought, there's nothing wrong with me. Yeah. I ain't got a problem. I'm in the pubs. I'm socialising.
Denial.
Totally denial. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Even.
It's what it is. It's like you separate yourself from them, and it's like the difference is, you tell yourself, if it gets to that place, then I'll change. Yeah. But then you get to that place, and then there's always someone worse off.
Of course.
And then you'll be in the gutter looking up, thinking, if we get any worse than this.
I got into some predicaments where I thought, I got on top at Crown Court roof at one point, climbed up the scaffolding. I wore, like I said, I've not really mentioned it much. I've mentioned bits on other podcasts, but if I'm going to be totally truthful, do you know what I mean? At some point, I was that bad. I was looking for guns in Leeds. I was looking for grenades. I was going to totally sack out the police station. That's how warped up my head was.
Pull that a little bit forward to you.
That's how warped up my head was getting.
Yeah.
And I actually sort of got up on top of this Crown Court roof, and they were like the statue of the the Justice statue.
Yeah.
And in my mind, when I steaming, come round the corner from this pub that my granddad used to own. It's like a wine bar now. It used to be a rough pub when my granddad had it in the 50s, 60s. But I've been in there, got it in my head, thought, right, I'm going to get up on the roof and I'm going to smash that statue down. And the police station's on Mud Street, the court's opposite the police. I thought, I'm going to smash the statue down. And then the papers are going to come and take a photo of it and say, what you done that for? And then I was going to explain this stitch book. Because up to that point, nobody was taking a blind bit of notice of what problems were going on from me having a miscarriage of justice. I'd been getting in trouble with the courts, going to the magistrate, saying to him, "There's no, I've been on the tags, I've been on the community, I've dug the holes, painted all the stuff."
But this is not just only your story, is it? No. Although you've had a massive miscarriage of justice, right? You've also been involved in the birth of BKB.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. That's
so again, like, because it's gone that far forward now, I almost feel like I shouldn't like say out about it. Do you know what I mean? But really, if anybody's going to say something about it, it should be someone like myself. Do you know what I mean? Because like we started B-Bad, me and I won't say start. You can't say who started it, but Andy Topliff. Big shout out to Andy Topliff. If anybody got the bare knuckle going, he was the one that it were all rough. Nobody knew what he was doing. People slagged us off later down the line.
Straighten us in the fucking car park.
We went down to like Leicester, some F-bar, some Asian nightclub that was shut down in the back. The fight, there were like about 30 gypsies from Leicester. I brought Dave Radford down. Dave's a good lad from up our way, Emsworth. You know what I mean? He'd been on the knuckle scene before. There's a couple of videos of him fighting Tony Bulldog. Tony Goward, they'd sort of set it up like as looking like a gypsy thing, like pegged out some stuff in a field and had a little do, and Dave beat Tony then. So I'd gone past this pub and bumped into Dave, and I was like, I'm involved with this B-Bad now with this Andy Topliff. Do you know what I mean? He's looking for some fighters. You want to come down? Yeah, sound. Didn't ask like who my fight. This guy'd fight anybody. Do you know what I mean? Don't want to know who he's fighting. We're not interested in fighting. Went down to this Leicester. 3 of us had like fights. It were all over in like 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean? We all shook hands. The point was to just see that we beat the gypsy fighters. Are they going to all kick off? Yeah. How can we all shake hands, have a beer? It all went smooth. We had a few lads down there. We had Tyrone Monahan down there, whose dad, Paddy, were involved with bare knuckle. His dad were involved with like Muhammad Ali. We had Samuel Kwok there on first night. Grandmaster Samuel Kwok, trained by Ip Ching, Ip Man, Bruce Lee's, serious geezers in the room, you know what I mean? Some tough lads.
Some mixed martial arts going on, isn't it?
Some mad stuff going on at the time. But like I said, the fights, everybody, like even my first fight, I fought a lad called Matt Thorne. He's not the best of fighters. Yeah. I kind of pretty knew I was going to win. So people have slag. The ones that want to slag you down will find anything to slag you off.
Yeah.
The ones that want to say, look, yeah, that were good. They can slag you off for the fighting, but the point is, we arranged it. We got off his ass. We got in the car. We drove all the way down to Leicester. We had the fights. We took the chip tooth and bust nose and come home. People took the lumps and bumps, and we started it off. Then we knew it had gone smooth. Then we did another one. That same in Leicester, but it was somewhere called Harry's Bar, and it were a little bit more. There were like a bar downstairs, then there were like an hairdresser's, and then a lift up to this third floor where there were nothing. So we put the hay bales out again. We got the Butlin twins there, good lads from Huddersfield. They're all to do with the martial arts, and that got good reputations.
Who's that other fella, Norman?
Buckland.
Is that who it is?
No, I'd never met Norman up to that point. I met Norman a lot later. I'd heard of Norman. Do you know what I mean, through people, but Norman wasn't around at that point. Not what I mean. He were around with what he were doing, but not.
Lenny McLean was you?
Lenny was, yeah. I mean, I've been involved with like the Lenny stuff to do with the films, and like I said.
Did you ever come across Charlie Bronson when he was?
I wrote a book for Charles Bronson, and then we shelved it.
Yeah.
So we're getting stuff. Rod Harrison, Charlie kind of goes through best part. He can drop you like an hot stone. Yeah, to be fair,
I've heard a few rumours about Charlie. To be fair, which from people who have shared landings with him. Yeah, he's. I
don't think like what he portrays, and maybe I've heard firsthand. I used to go I'm in Wakefield, so when he were in Wakefield, Rod Harrison would go. There's a pub on corner called Henry Boone, so I'd go to Henry Boone's, meet Rod before he went in for a visit. He'd have a cup of tea, I'd have a Guinness. He'd go in and have the visit with Charlie, then he'd come out and then tell me. So I was like first stand somebody who's just come straight out of visit. What's he up to? What's he doing? What's he up to? Yeah. And even Rod would tell you, do you know what I mean? He want, as much as he's saying he's keeping his head down, he's still shouting and bawling at the door and still giving it. He's not doing himself the favours. I don't think. I'm not sure what the problem is, but the book wise, I'd done about 25,000-30,000 words. Charlie were writing it, and then Rod were bringing it out, and then I were typing it up. But it were like in 3 sections. It were like Peterson,
Michael Peterson, yeah.
So it were like Michael Peterson, then it were Bronson, then it were Charles Salvador. So the book were like
3 different chapters.
Yeah, so it would all sound a bit skitsy. So I just thought, and his parole were coming up. I said to Rod, "This is like, I don't think this has come out now. This doesn't look right." Do you know what I mean? It makes him look like not right. So it was like sort of, "Oi, Peterson, get your." Oh, shut up, mate. And then it'd be like Bronson would be like, "Oh, yeah, I'll fucking do you in." And then it'd be like Charlie Salvador, leave it out, lads, I'm trying to do my art. Yeah. I'm trying to do my art. And then it'd be Peterson like, "Yeah, you keep out of it, Salvador." And then Bronson, "Yeah, I'll do." And it was all like that.
So he reinvented himself.
Wow. Yeah, but like I said, when you read 25,000 words in that 3 sections of 3 people, it sounded a bit wonky. So, I mean, I'd spent about 4 months. I didn't get paid for it. Yeah. But I shelved it. I like just being a decent person, thinking I don't want to be responsible for that sort of something coming out, and if that affects his parole, I don't want to be anybody saying, "Well, you caused something that."
To be fair, I'm not too sure, whether this guy will get his parole, and if he does get his parole, will he last more than a month on the out?
I think in his mind he thinks he's going to come out and go. He wants to go to this cottage and paint and be left alone. I can't see him being left alone. He'd be hounded, wouldn't he? Yeah. If he come out.
It's like Curtis Warren.
Right.
Once he's out, he's the shame. He's going to be hounded.
Yeah.
And you've got to make the best of it. With what you've got, really.
It's who you've got around you as well. And like I said, some of the people that I knew were around Bronson when I were involved in his campaigns. Yeah. We've been to London. We've been to Ministry of Justice. We've been to, we've done all these walking around London. Protesting for him. Done all that. The people that were around him then were good people. He's got rid of them. Yeah. He's got this George, whoever his son is. I speak to his brother Mark.
I've spoke to his son.
I don't think it's his son. This is what I'm saying. I speak to Mark and all rest of the family. His mum and Mark, his brother, don't like this. Whoever they think this son, he won't have a DNA. They don't think he is a son.
He won't have a DNA test.
He won't. He says he's had one, but I don't think whatever they've done. This guy just seems to be a journalist. I think who's got in his head, and that's what he's doing.
And he's so that's another story, isn't it?
It just goes all over. This is why sometimes you don't know where we were on about bare knuckle and now we're on about Bronson. It's like just.
But these are the best podcasts.
It can go everywhere. Like if you're going back to the bare knuckle thing, like I said, after the Harry's Bar, then we got it. We knew it were like going somewhere. We're going from just like the lads going down who were rough to then like you get a couple of lads sort of. We'd be putting adverts out, sort of saying, look, instead of having a night out on ale, why don't you come to this? Bring your pals, see what it's all about. Yeah. You won't get harmed. You won't have any trouble. Because a lot of people were, they think, they think, bare knuckle and gypsies and, don't want to go there. They might all, you don't know what's going to happen. So there were a bit of like, there were a little bit of trepidation to sort of go, well, that's what we got rid of in the first 3 shows. And then the more we sort of then started getting it to the hotels, we sort of like did like the Cedar Court at Bradford, blagged it and went, we're just having a charity boxing match, rented out like the wedding venue. And then by the time they realised what was going on, it were like, it's like a bare knuckle.
So how big did you take it?
Well, I were with Andy up until about the 8th and 9th show, do you know what I mean? And then he sold it to Joe Brown and Jim Freeman Dove, and then they phased us all out in a way. There were a lot of sort of like, I think they had their own ideas, and they've done really well. I've always like...
There's been different platforms recently as well. There's like 3D,
it's gone massive, yeah.
Yeah, 3D boxing or...
3D looks good, like I said, they're only in their infancy, but...
Was that Dougie Joyce, is it?
Dougie and, Dougie Joyce and
Dean Lynch.
Dean Lynchward, yeah.
Yeah, so they're involved in something called 3D. I don't really follow BKB, and I do...
I don't as much now. Like, I follow it a bit, if there's something going on, but there's that much now, I think, what's what I used to... From when, like, B-Bad was sold, then they kept it as B-Bad for a little while, and then Joe, once they got it to O2 at London, then they switched it to like this BKB, and then it was BKB 1, 2. I think they're on like the 20th show or something like that.
I've spoke to Jimmy Sweeney. He's like...
Yeah, well, Jimmy come on out. He would on when, I think it was about a 6th show. I remember Jimmy, first time he come to Kettering, and he fought 2 lads, one after the other, and I knew straight away, I thought, you can fight this kid, do you know what I mean? He was just a different level. Yeah. I've always took me out to Jimmy. Like, I knew he'd go, because I knew what his boxing was. Really, we'd done a bit of digging about him, and I knew, if he'd have been able to keep his license and box, he'd have probably been a champion boxer. Yeah, really. So I knew he was going to go at the top with a bare knuckle. I kind of spoke about people like they were like the good sort of brawlers, but they were only going to go so far. Once you got somebody that were precision punching, and knew how to move and that's calm.
That's where you've got like Danny Christie, Danny.
Yeah, Danny's nice.
Danny can move and he can punch.
That's it.
He's got a bang.
Yeah.
I've had him on the pads and I felt that power just through the pad.
I would just wish he'd have knocked that deck of egg clean out. That's all I'd say. I were rooting for him to absolutely, I'd say he beat him easy. Yeah. He beat him easy.
So where did you want him to be knocked deck of egg out?
I just don't like the kid. I've known him, like I said, from the start, all this like bare knuckle champion and all that. It was us that, like, I got him the fights. Yeah. The Dave Price fights. It was me that, I've had him like ring me up crying, this promotion don't want to know what to do with me, can you ring Andy? Yeah. Then we like sort of made out to him like, I don't know if Andy'll, it's going to be an hard combo that, mate, do you know what I mean? To get Andy, I've rung Andy up and gone, that Decker wants to fight, like, get him straight on. Then I've like left it for about 2 hours and rung Decker back and gone, bloody hell, that would hard work, convincing Andy to get you on, mate. He's like, oh, thanks. But, the kids he fought, good lads, not knocking him.
So why was he so like determined to get on these fights? Was it just money or?
It must be just money with him. I think he's, without speculating, I reckon he's got a drug problem, mate. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what it's all comes down to. He's a bit of a beggar, isn't he? Yeah. Seems to be. Everything I see, like I said, I don't follow it, I don't watch it. I think people think I'm glued to watching all this stuff, and I'm not. I'm busy. You know what I mean, with stuff, and I've had to take a, you've got to get away from it, and you can get sucked into all these other people's dramas, and
that's why I try not to form any opinions.
I don't want to. It's hard to not have an opinion on some stuff.
It is. I mean, I
don't sit on fence. If I say I don't like him, I don't like him. People know me. I always speak my mind. Everybody knows where they lie with me.
Well, that's it. There's no beating around the bush.
No. There's no point, like I said. He knows where to live if he wants to say something.
So. Life's too short to beat around the bush.
It is, mate. I just, like I said, I don't like his character. I've never said he can't fight. Yeah, he can have a go.
Well, you've come across him because you've been involved in the bare knuckle boxing.
I've just seen how he operates away. I know, like I said, I've got stuff on my phone that where all these rumours, and I've got people. We know stuff about people, and. So I make my opinion up over that. Yeah. No, it's not just pluck it out of thin air and say, I don't like him for why? I don't know. Because everybody don't like him, so I'm going to not like him. Yeah. I know why I don't. That's
just like a misguided loyalty. That's like I've said this a few times, and I said it recently where, when my mate, or I've had a mate and he said I don't like such and such, and all of a sudden I don't like him because you don't like him.
Well, this
and
is
then
it.
I get to speak to him and I think he shines, you know, that kind of stuff.
I had stuff, like I said, with this miscarriage, you know, it was a rape case, so the stigma of the word of it, you know, I never knew, people who know me know it's a load of shite, but until I got the book out and got the facts out and put my full story out there and put the court stuff out there and put the appeal things in it and made everybody aware of it, you know, they weren't just like me saying, no.
So this is the book you've written, it's called, this is the hardback by the way, it's called Stitched.
Yeah.
Dale Brendan Hyde. Can you see that? I'll put a copy up and I'll put all the links into it. So let's talk about this. Yeah. Forward by, you got the devil, Stephen French.
Yeah. Again, some people are saying that might be not the best move. I don't know. Like I always thought, because Stephen, I got to know him again through the bare knuckle. He come doing a bit of the refereeing and he was getting involved. And then another kid sort of got involved, this Christian Roberts. Again, I don't like him. I feel he's a rip-off artist. People have just ignored.
Don't know. Who's he?
He does that Spartan. I think it's Spartan.
Okay.
Again, it's just a bit. It's more like he's just sort of filled in for where Andy, like, you know, there's always been this hope, you know, the bare knuckle, like once the council got involved and he tried to take it up a level, then it become a little less rough, and I think it lost its edge. But there were always this crowd for like round the bales, you know, getting splattered in a bit of blood, and you know, you were right on the action, and that's where I think there's a big audience, and that Christian sort of slipped into that.
So how did Frenchie turn up then on the scene?
I've no idea. I think just through like Andy Topliff, do you know what I mean? Like loads of, you know, we've had all sorts. You know, we did stuff in back of Dave Courtney's garden at London. We had a show on there. We had all, you know, they go on now about all you know, we were in all newspapers. There were a 5-page spread in Men's Health magazine with Jason Statham on front, bare chested, in bare knuckle pose.
Was this for the film that he was up against? He was up with Statham.
I'm not sure. Like at the time,
he was in a movie. What was it called? Now was it not Lock, Stock? It was the other one, wasn't it?
I think, you know, he didn't do it to sort of push our article, but it looked good because he went up front sort of in a bare knuckle pose, and we had a 5-page spread about bare knuckle rise of it. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I wrote some stuff for.
He's not like a bare knuckle fighter, Frenchie, is he?
No, I think it's just like sort of karate. Is it? Is he karate champion and world champion?
I don't think it's really.
But like I said, I asked him for a quote because I thought, you know, I wanted to put somebody with a bit of a clout in that sort of sense on the front. Do you know what I mean? I know he'd had a few problems himself with that type of miscarriage sort of rumours or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I think he'd just been in the nick himself. So
kind of added to what your story was.
I just felt at the time. Do you know what I mean?
So let's have a little chat about this then, because your miscarriage of justice, because it's important to you. Obviously, it's going to be important to you because it's been, you know.
I've just been up to Walton Nick now. I've not been there for 27 years. I come out of Walton in the bus to Brixton to go down to the Royal Courts of Appeal to get the appeal, and then I got acquitted down there. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, to just, you know, to be up here and to see Walton Prison again does bring back a few.
Tell us a little bit about the beginning. How long ago was this?
1994 got lifted. So I was 20, just gone 20, Bill. Slept with a lass. Like I said, there's we out, you know, draining this podcast.
Yeah.
There's loads of, you know, if anybody wants to know more, read the book, or there's loads of other podcasts where I go in depth about all this case.
What podcast are we being on? Is it the Liquid Gold?
Yeah, there's Liquid Bullet.
Liquid Bullet, sorry.
There's
apologies to Liquid Bullet, by the way, for calling it Liquid Gold.
Yeah, no, I did it. Yeah, Lee and I forget I always hate, you know, when you forget somebody's name, you feel like embarrassed, don't you? But yeah, Lee Mayo and I think it's Vince. I think it is. But I did that one, and I've done like Yummy B. Yummy's alright.
I like Yummy.
Yeah, I went down to London because we went and did a bit of filming outside the Royal Courts because I'd not been there since, so we kind of relived that because I never got that chance. You always said it's like, you know, when you see these films where it's like in the name of the Father, they come out of the front and come to the microphone. It's like I've been like hard done by, and all the cameras are there and all the media's there. There was nobody there when I come out.
No.
You know, the reality of the small man on the street. This is why I wrote Stitch. It wasn't just to get my story out. It's to give other people a bit of hope who are going through it. I just yesterday went to United Against Injustice conference. You know, I spoke in front of like 100 people yesterday, like, and, you know, got a lot, you know, everybody come up to me after, like, you know, massive moved people massively. Do you know what I mean? You don't realise, like, what you're doing, you know, like, you know, you're giving these talks, and there's so many people that have had miscarriage of justice. You just think you only know about your own case.
Obviously, without going into details, because we don't really need to go down that road. But you know,
the meat and
potato of it. It was
I slept with a girl on a Sunday night. about 6 to 7 days later, door come flying in. Get out of bed, you dirty rapist bastard. Dragged out of bed, to police station, give a full statement. I've slept with her, I ain't raped her. She said I'd raped her, brutally beat her, kicked her, punched her. Like, proper, knocked the hell out of her, do you know what I mean? Not a mark on her, nothing like this. Got remanded straight away from magistrates. Went through Old Bailey hearings, knocked back, JC, last one, judging chambers, no, bump, now I'm on remand. I were in Doncaster, no, we're in Morelands to start with.
Was you a YP at the time?
Yeah, we're just like,
it must have been fucking tough for you.
Only just turned 20, but I'd not been long out, I'd been in for robberies before. I got a 6 when I was 18 for robberies. Only like a 2 and a 2, so I only got a 2 really, but I suppose 6 year, that's what come out of the judge's mouth. It was,
well, consecutive and concurrence.
Yeah. So I just sort of done that. So luckily in that sense, I knew pretty much everybody that was still back up. When I bounced back onto wing, it were like, what, robbing again? I'm like, no, it's rape, no chance. Do you know what I mean? People get to know you, like say, you can't hide in the cell. People get to know your character. People get to know what you like, whether you're a perv or whether you're, people just get to know what you like.
Yeah.
So I want that worried in that sense, just like more in a dream-like state, thinking, is this surreal? I kept expecting at any minute him to just come and open doors.
You having a laugh, one of
come
them.
on, fucking, come on, get you sent home. This has gone too far. And days turn into weeks, turn into months. By this time I spent. Then Morelands shut down as a YP, and then they opened up that Doncaster, that HMP Doncaster, that new prison. So we were first lot in there, chaos in there when we first went there. It was just like bloody a zoo. There were people throwing plug-in irons in. When you were walking onto the wing, like new, even if you were all right and like, buckets of hot water, irons, people chucking stuff, it was like running the gauntlet to get into your cell just as you went on the wing.
Hot water with sugar in it.
The irons and people plugging irons in and chucking red hot irons at you. And that's not because of the rape charge. Just that were happening to anybody that come onto the wings.
That was just a bit of humour, bit of fun.
Everybody had gone off their head. Like I said,
it
wasn't like a Victorian prison. It was like this. It looked like a playground to me when I walked in. It were all like brightly coloured, all these like ping pong tables, pool tables, key to your door. Not about it. I'd been on 23-hour bang up, you know what I mean? An hour out yard and a packet of biscuits if you were lucky. That that were it. Got through there. 13 months I were on remand, and then it got to Leeds Crown Court. Got to the trial, 5-day trial. At that point, I'd turned 21. The first day at trial, the bus come for Donny. And bus like took back off, and I went, yeah, mate, I'm supposed to be. He went, no, mate, you're off to Armley. You've turned 21. I've been lying about my age for a bit, couple of months, nothing much. Blagged it on one bit of paperwork somewhere down the line, do you know what I mean? And thought, I don't want to really get started up on with this rape charge. I'll stay away from that adult prison as long as I can, basically. You know what I mean? We're only like a skinny little 20-year-old, 21. So I thought I'll stop away from that. Anyway, first day at trial. Right, Armley. So that was a bit of a shocker, first day, 5-day trial, again, straight into an adult prison. Armley, not the best of jails. Went in there, yeah, shit all, isn't it? What I mean?
It was there, got shipped out of Walton in 2000, and I think it was 2003, we got Shanghai to Armley, straight down a block.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened when I went from Armley So I lost track where I was. So trial, 5-day, found guilty. Again, loads of evidence at the trial to show that you no way have you raped anybody. Loads of stuff. It's all in the book. Everything that's in the book. All the stuff from the court. All the stuff from the perfected ground of appeal by my barrister at the time, who was now a judge.
DNA or nothing?
Well, I'd admitted I'd slept with her, so the DNA were like, it were just have you, hadn't you?
Yeah.
There were no, like I said, the biggest thing were like how she'd said they'd beat the hell out of her, and there were not a mark on her. I thought the trial had got stopped at that point when it seemed obvious to everybody on our side, like, just total liar, just living in a fantasy world, I think. Again, found guilty, massive shock. As soon as they come back, the jury, I thought the jury, you're watching them out, like through the trial. I kind of, few of the blokes, they were giving this sympathetic, for they're listening to what's going on here. You know what I mean? I would 100%. That they were going to come back and say not guilty, and I was thinking, well, it's been a bad 13-month remand that, but I was willing to then put it behind me and think, fucking hell, do you know what I mean? I don't think I'll have any one night stands for a while. I'll swerve. I was going to go to the Middle East, like my dad's in the Middle East all the time, so I'm going to go back out there. As soon as I come back with the guilty, I just lost my head. Attack went tried to escape the Leeds Crown Court.
Yeah.
Got battered in the court, got my wrist broke, got dragged down, and then back to Armley. Then on the E-man list, we're on the escapee list. 4 months are on it. Every 28 days you go up. Now back on it, back behind your door for 28 days. Bloody dogs taking everywhere. Again, all the fault, when you'd like to sort of just slink into prison and think, I'll just get in my cell and. I've got a rape charge here and I ain't done it. All the folk, he's on. Have you heard about that, Pete? It were in the papers, but How
long did he give you?
Well, I did the 4 month on the escapee list, and then just as they were taking me off it, then they took us back to the court because they abandoned the sentencing. The judge ended up off his chair, Billy. He was hiding under his chair at the time. He'd come off his chair in the courtrooom. They'd never seen nothing like it.
So he had been sentenced. You just got
they had to abandon it all because like I said, it was just like a bloody chaos after they said guilty. So it went back. They got 8 years for rape, and then give me 3 months for contempt of court. Yeah. And then I got off the escapee list, and then the 2 days after I got off the escapee list, come around with a clipboard, went Walton Shippart list, and I thought, I don't want to be on that. And he went, Hyde? I went, yeah. He went, you're on Shippart tomorrow. I went, no. So back up, up here. Felt more isolated coming, obviously, from a Yorkshire jail up to Liverpool. Didn't really know anybody up here. Basically, just went on beat. I were on block mostly. I think it was B. I think B-Wing's a block.
Yeah. B-Wing on the
I think I went on A-Wing. Yeah. But I went up and down. It wasn't like anybody pushed me on that block. I pushed myself on it because I think I'm having breakdowns. At points I'd just be like, I need to get off the wing.
Did they ever get a Rule 43B as soon as you...
No, they kept at it in some, as soon as we went in on the remand, as soon as we got into Morelands, they were like, you're going to have to go on the thing. Like, no way. Do you know what I mean? And they're like, well,
protection.
Be it on your head then, do you know what I mean? And we were like, like I said, we've been in, I've been in before, new folk, and, I want... You're angry, you know what I mean? So, when people... It wasn't like anybody say, what you in for, blag it. I was like, I'm in for rape, why? If anybody had hope at that point, it didn't say, I think it was about 4 days or 2 days, something like that, before I stuck a metal tray around somebody's head, getting your dinner. We're always...
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen, and it happens, you know what I mean? Like I said, God, again, writing the book, but again, more for people, I think, if I'd never been in prison, Christ, if this happened, there'll be some kid now, maybe, sat on remand or sat sentenced, and he's not a fighter, he can't look after himself, he's not been through the system, God knows how it coping, do you know what I mean? Because it must be hell, do you know what I mean? Like I said, it luckily was a bit of a...
That's something about you.
A little bit, you know what I mean? Like say you've been in before, so it wasn't a massive shock, the prison, it was bad. It was just a charge, it was just like this is what's happened for the last 25, 30 years. It's a stigma. Yeah. Again, why I went to write the book, I thought, I don't know whether I want to drag all this back up. A lot of people advised me, don't, just leave it. Leave it, do you know what I mean? Don't be bringing it up. But I thought, no, Joe, I want to get my point across. I'm sick of idiots, you know what I mean? It's always idiots. Most decent people will hear you out before they make a judgment or throw a punch at you. Idiots will just make a snap judgment. Rape. You're a rapist. Yeah, no, not a rapist. So that was the reason why I wrote it, mate. And it took like I said, went up to Walton, again up there for about over a year, and then got the appeal in. The first appeal goes back to your judge. So he was called Judge Hutchinson. He's dead now, but he just I just think he must have just binned it straight away and thought, that's him. Was carried on, after the sentencing. Then you lose your legal aid. So then again, this was another reason why I've just been to this United Against Injustice conference yesterday to push that point that's where you'd be stuck. Like me and you, if that were happening to us, if we ain't got any money or family or all, then you're stuck, aren't you?
Yeah.
You've lost your legal aid right now. What? Even if I'm still, but with money I prove that by moving forward I got released. But without that money to proceed, I'd still be. They didn't let me out. They wanted, system weren't interested in saying, go home. Yeah. I had to fight to get home. You know what I mean? So that was another, 27 months I spent. Got down to the appeal court, 5 days trial down there. And on the 4th day, they just went bang. They were reading from some book. You're up on a big balcony. I don't know if you've been to that Royal Courts of Appeal.
Yeah.
Scary.
Did you go to Pentonville prior?
No, Brixton.
Yeah, so I was in Pentonville.
So they had me in Brixton. It were all weird as well. I've mentioned this on another podcast, but on the day we went from Walton, the IRA had just blown up the Docklands, biggest bombing on the mainland. On the Thursday morning, like I said, the 5-day appeal hearing, we're going to go to the Friday, but on the Thursday, I got out in the afternoon, but on the Thursday morning, the IRA had put the bloody bomb in Charing Cross phone box. So when I got out, there were people at this conference yesterday that are now 20 odd years later. There's a department there, there's an office there. So when you get out of the royal courts, if you get acquitted, you can go to them and they'll, are you okay? Do you need housing? Do you need money? There were none of that. You just sort of come out and thought, where's King's Cross train station? I need to get home. Didn't really, that was one part of it over. Again, didn't realise that there were going to be all this stigma and having to prove yourself and, sort of like start a new relationship, Billy. You know what I mean? It's like, do I tell a lass I've been convicted? I can't get away from the fact that at some point in my life I've been convicted of rape, but I've also been acquitted by the, Lord Stoughton, Sir William Macpherson, Judge Gower. Sir William Macpherson did that Macpherson report when that Stephen Lawrence got stabbed to death. Yeah. He wrote like one of the most important legal documents. The ex-SAS guy, the Lord Stoughton, biggest judge in England at the time. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, you're not going to get wallies on them.
No.
You had some serious geezers looking at you and reading you. It wasn't anything new. There wasn't even no new evidence to go to the appeal. It was just, they just read exactly what had been said at Leeds Crown Court and went, how's this got to here? Yeah. Free to go.
So you've gone to the appeal courts.
Yeah.
You've had these judges looking at your case and just went, what the fuck?
Yeah. Like I said, it didn't even bother getting to the fifth day. On fourth day, they went, free to go.
And what was that? What was the feeling there?
Nervous. Weird. Like I said, maybe the atmosphere of London as well. Like I said, they were in a terror state because the IRA that morning, so it were all a bit. London weren't like, and it's fast city in it. So I'm not from.
They release you into London.
Yeah, you come straight out of the Strand, straight out of the Royal Court, straight out the front. I went, I didn't go in this pub. There's a pub straight across the road. I didn't go in that one, but I can remember wandering about a bit. I went down to King's Cross to try to ditch the HMP plastic bag. I still had I'd give loads of my stuff away to some of the lads I knew at Walton. Do you know what I mean? I think they were blagging me. They were like, "Oh, you don't want to take your stuff down at appeal court. It means you'll come back. Yeah, have my radio then." You know what I mean? I think they were on blag a bit, but I didn't mind. I thought, yeah, keep it. I don't want it. I'm going home. I knew I was going home. Do you know what I mean? I just some minute back in my mind, I thought, this is that much nonsense. Sure, if this.
You were definitely in Bolton by at the same time as me then, 94, 95.
It's all like, it's like you can't remember. It's like I said, I've just been up there an hour before I've just come here, just to have a walk round, and I thought, wow, weird. Very weird. Surreal. Yeah. I didn't know what I was doing, mate. I come out, like I said, I went straight, I got on the train home, I went to the newspaper first. Yeah. That was the first thing I did. And I tried to speak to this woman I said, I want to speak to this journalist who wrote something when I got sentenced. And this little old woman, she sort of disappeared. And I was pressing this buzzer and she disappeared. And about 20 minutes later, I'm like pressing this buzzer and she just disappeared. She just didn't come out. She like locked us in the back and thought, God, she's like spooked out. Because she said, what's it about? Oh, about this rape. I've just come out from a rape case. Yeah. Just been acquitted, right.
You just went, whoa.
The word, and I didn't. This is what I'm saying. The power of it, and then I remember coming out back onto Westgate, which is like outside this Unity Hall where the Wakefield Express newspaper was. I remember then sort of stood on the steps looking down Westgate, thinking, "This is only just fucking starting this." Yeah. Even though I've just got out, do you know what I mean? Like I've just sort of that was the first person that made me think, "Well, I've just seen the stigma of the word, without knowing me, without listening to me, without hearing, without knowing anything about it, just that word." It's awkward, isn't it? I think even people get awkward. Like I've had loads of people like they just don't. Again, why I put the book out? I just think geezers need to speak about it more because it can happen to any man, can't it? Like,
that's a question I was going to ask. Like, I obviously know why, but like people want to know why you put the book out, and the reason you're saying is because there could be other miscarriages of justice. It doesn't actually have to be that.
No,
kind of miscarriage.
No, just anything. This is what I'm saying. That United Against Injustice conference yesterday, there were professors there, solicitors there, people from the Royal Courts there, people. Jeremy Bamber campaigners were there. I don't know if I don't know that much to make a personal decision on whether he's guilty or not. I don't know that much about the case.
I don't even know him. Jeremy Bamber,
it was that White House farm thing. He'd murdered they say he's murdered his family, like his mum, his dad, his sister and her 2 young kids. He's been in for like about 40 years in Wakefield.
But is he still away?
Yeah, he's in Wakefield, but a lot of people are saying he's innocent. It was his sister that did it. Whether it's either one of the biggest miscarriages of justice in the country, or he's been saying, he's just been going on saying I've not done it just to make it easier on him, son. I don't know all about the case, but it was interesting to listen to some of the people yesterday. Like I said, they just sort of threw me straight on. John Kamara, like I said, I'm going to speak to John to get him on about the, he'd done, 20 years for a murder. He wasn't even there, was he? Wasn't even there.
Gilbert?
Yeah, I got a message off him yesterday because I don't know that lad. I need to reply to him.
I've done a podcast with Leroy.
Yeah.
Not Leroy.
Raymond,
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, he messaged me yesterday saying like, well done, I don't know how he knew or whether John had said I was going on or whatever, but he'd messaged me last night and said, yeah, well done, it's good. It's just important. I just think, there's been that many people, it's easy to slander somebody with a rape charge, like as much as you're doing good, that's my Achilles heel when I don't deserve that Achilles heel. I ain't got that many chinks in my armour.
It's hurting you, innit? It's hurt you over the years.
Yeah, of course it has. It's like anybody. I mean, like I said, it could. The people don't realise when they're sending me a message. Like even 3-4 weeks ago, just get a message out of the blue. You're rapist. I think, fucking cheers, mate.
It's like a few like celebrities. Well, like Craig Charles, remember him? And there was a few others. Was it Mark Lavelle out of Corrie? And
it's ruined him, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's.
What was that other one? That comedian, what's his name? I'm terrible with names, mate. What is fucking hell?
Where's he from?
I think he's a Londoner.
I don't know. Old school, Jim Davison.
Freddie
Starr.
Yeah, Freddie Starr.
He's a Scouser.
Oh, right, sorry. So I remember like all that. I think he got some rumours and he got drinking again. It pushed him drinking. And this is what I'm saying with people that don't realise I've had a bad problem with drinking. I wrote The Whiskey Pool about like getting through drinking and how to recover from drinking.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's a short story. I mean, it's
The Whiskey Pool.
There's a story in it weaved in, but also inside it is what I found were valuable to me to help me get away from drinking. Like I said, I didn't realise I was having a problem until I got too much into it.
Yeah.
And then I was just getting banged up all the time, asking the courts. I went off my own back and got like 2 years alcohol counselling, going every week.
So how did your life evolve after? Was the like in and out of prison and?
No, just when I was going for the grace year payment, I went for the compensation because I had a lot of people sort of saying, "Well, if you're innocent, why ain't you been compensated?"
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't know. I'm not the one. It's just not me. It's not me that's just not been compensated. There's millions of people that have not been compensated. That was another thing that went on yesterday at this conference. That, like trying to work out why. We didn't even get the money back for like as barristers. We're paid privately for the barristers.
Did you get nothing back at all?
I didn't get nothing. Didn't get the money back for the barristers to go down. Didn't get no compensation. Didn't get nothing. I come out and got my train ticket out and I had like in my canteen. Whatever money I'd got me sent together in Walton. Yeah. That's how I got home. Nothing. Nobody there at all. I said, just onto the street. See you later. Get on with it. 27 months. Your head's up your ass. You've just gone through all that. You're traumatised. You're only still 21. Well, 22. Yeah. I flew off to the Middle East to see my dad. But again, I was sat on the beach in paradise, sat in like Abu Dhabi, but still sat in prison. Yeah. Even though the surroundings, like you probably yourself, you're saying like we've been to Thailand, you think people run away, and you can't run away from your brain. No. You can change your scenery, but you can't change your mind. You know what I mean? So until you deal with your core problems, don't matter where you live, don't matter where you are. Like you say, you can live in. I have a tattoo on my arm.
You'd be in the best place on the planet and still wish you were in the the worst place on the estate.
Yeah, I'll read you this. I have a tattoo on my arm here. It says, "A golden palace that is bloodstained cannot be the abiding place for Buddha. A small hut where the moonlight leaks in through chinks in the roof can be transformed into a place where Buddha will abide if the mind of its master is pure." Now, Buddha, it doesn't have to be Buddha. Buddha could represent anything, do you know what I mean, about you, but it just means like, there's these people that they might have all these big things. They might have the big cars, the big houses, but they might be miserable in their brains. Yeah. Materialistic stuff shouldn't be like the goal. You got to get yourself together. Yeah. Again, I feel like the cancer come with me. I just got myself sort of together. I'd got off the drink. I'd done I'd gone and helped myself, got through the counselling, got back in the gym, got back on the box, to get back on the bags. I've been in the gym 8-7 boxing at the gyms. Yeah. Getting back on the bags, sweating it out, going on the top, up at 5, running down the towpaths down the river, sweating it out. Could feel it all coming out of me, as I'm jogging along. Like an old donkey to start with, and then a stallion sort of, after a few years, you're sprinting away and loving it. Yeah. Proper, body's coming back, mind's coming back, starting to see everything clearer, and then bang, got cancer, got like bowel cancer, got that out,
How long? So was you on the chemo and stuff for that?
Yeah, the bowel cancer come out of the blue, so I just like crapped all this blood out of nowhere. I thought, wow, I thought it were piles or something. Went to GP, stuck his finger up my bum. No, it's not piles. Didn't refer me. About 4 weeks later, got really bad low pain. Shit all this blood out. Went up, had like the colonoscopy, they did some tests and stuff. No, it's not that. Did the colonoscopy, found this massive tumour in my bowel.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I've been there 10 years, they said, which made sense to me. I was diagnosed at 39. It's been going on like last 10 years, this. So that took me back to 29, which made sense because that's when I would drink, like sort of like 25 to 30.
Do you think that contributed to?
Yeah, because my diet, like you say, when you're on substance, you're not eating right, are you? And you're stressing all the time. Even when you the moments of bliss are far and in between. The rest of it's getting money to run around, do this and it, trying to get drinking in the rough old places where the vibe is negative. You're soaking it up. I'm a strong believer in what you tell yourself will come out in your body.
Yeah.
I think there's been like people out there where somebody were like stuck in a freezer and they were convinced the freezer were on overnight and they were going to die, and he died, and they found out the freezer, it wasn't even on. But he convinced himself, I'm going to freeze to death tonight, and he did. You know what I mean? So I think your mind's like capable of like pushing you positively in a massive way, or it's also can connect and bring out these illnesses. Do you know what I mean? I think everybody's got the cancer in them, and it's just a matter of like setting it off. So I'd definitely set it off, I think, through my diet and my stress and worrying about all what I'd been through. And like I said, that always thinking like, I could go into sort of like a room and think, do they know about that rape charge? Do they think I'm a rape? You just can't get it out of your head sometimes. You know what I mean? We're always there nagging. The further I got away from it, it got more distant, but still that niggle.
And how's your life these days? What's been
good,
going on?
Man. I can speak about things now. Like I said before, it'd just do me head in. If I spoke like this about it, I'd be down for weeks. Thinking I'd just sort of churn it all back up. And
it takes a lot of courage to come on a show.
It's embarrassing in a way, but like I said, it's the word. This is what I wanted to keep speaking about, because I'm just sick of people like hiding away from it. Any guy could go out tonight, pull a bird, have his leg over. She might, whatever reason, says that, and then you're on remand. Yeah. Let's say you go on remand, and then you're on remand. Even if you just got arrested and then let out of the police station, people still point a finger and say, you were once arrested for rape. Yeah. If you go on remand and then get let out, you were on remand for rape. If you get convicted, you've been convicted of rape. Even with an acquittal off the highest judge in the country, people still, there must be something. Yeah. It's like, well, how can I? What more do I need?
You don't get acquitted.
No, what do you think, mate? What more does somebody need?
The courts don't just acquit people.
I know. I know how difficult it was to like I said, to get to that point. I mean, all could have happened before you got to that point. The point is, I could have killed my son. Yeah. Somebody could have killed me. I mean, that'd be a sad thing. Like somebody looking back now saying, remember in '95 when Dale got stabbed to death in Armley because that rape charge. Yeah. And that would be, and then what's on?
It'll be like fucking someone posting a picture of the fucking dinner on Facebook.
Yeah.
The day after you're dead.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
Saturday, I didn't pass away. Then the next day,
we're all guilty of it. As much as we love people or whatever, think you pass. Time passes and you go to graves, don't you? And there's no flowers on. And you think,
Well, buddy, I appreciate you coming on as well, Dale. Really do.
Yeah.
So, before we finish this podcast, right, I always ask for a pearl of wisdom from the guest. Obviously, I'm going to put all your books within the description. So you've got Dale, Brendan Hyde, Stitched, right?
The first book I wrote, Billy, was The Ink Run.
The Ink Run.
And I think what I was trying to do when I wrote The Ink Run years ago, I think I was trying to write Stitched. But
that's a big one, that.
Yeah, it become like a crime fiction because I felt it. I don't think I could deal with like writing the truth at that point. You know what I mean? So I kind of turned it into something else.
You've actually did 4 books, haven't you?
I've wrote a few more, but there's one that didn't come out through legal issues.
The Gods Are Watching.
That's poetry stuff. I used to just sort of like write that on my downtime. But
I'm looking forward to reading these.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, thanks. You're welcome, mate. I'll sign.
So I always ask for a pearl of wisdom. I'll put your books.
Put me on the spot.
Right. So what? Seriously. Like, what would you say to a young Dale Hyde coming through the doors of life?
Young Dale Hyde, I'd say just keep your zipped up. Maybe don't rush into things too much as a young man. It's so easy, like these birds and drugs and getting involved with the wrong things. You know what I mean? Try and like have a think It's hard to do when you're young, innit? You don't want to really look forward. You're not looking forward. You're just in the moment, right? Because you're so full of youth. You're just wrapped up in like now.
Yeah.
But like if I could go back and be more mature and think, well, what do I really want to do in the future? Or where do I want to be in 5 years? You know, like some of the people I know that I used to think they were boring people, but they had a plan, you know, and now they're like settled and they've got, you know, like I say, it's not about the house but just that they've had a settled life. And I kind of envy that, do you know what I mean? Sometimes the turmoil, but then sometimes stuff good comes out of like turmoil, do you know what I mean? So, but you've got to be positive to get that out of some turmoil, you know what I mean? These things can easily just, you know, destroy you, do you know what I mean? So you've still got to put the effort in, you know what I mean? Don't let things, no matter what's happened to you in life, don't let it define you.
Brilliant.
Do you know what I mean?
Brilliant. And with that, thank you.
Thank you, mate.